Welcome to part 20 of my build of the quarter-scale Jerry Bates Cessna 172 Skyhawk. This video is a slideshow with a voiceover of some pictures I took while building it. Day 115. On both sides of the Skyhawk there are steps screwed to the fuse. I made these from strips of styrene plastic and screwed them onto the fuselage. Sorry about the focus. The registration letters are white on a blue background, and since I have already sprayed the white, it's a simple matter to mask off the letters. I used my computer to make up the lettering, and here I am transferring them to some yellow painter's tape that I laid down on the sides. It took a long time to cut out the tape and leave the mask, where the blue comes later. Next I started masking the fuselage for the blue paint, but as I have to spray outside and the weather is not very good, I put this on hold. I got some very clever connectors for the wing servos. They are magnetic and click together when the wings are attached. Here I have fastened the connectors to the wings and the fuselage, and now I only have to solder on the leads from the receiver. Day 116. It took some time to solder the correct ends on the magnetic connectors, but here is one set. Here is the view into the fuselage. All the servos have been connected and there is an almighty tangle down there. When I have installed the batteries, one for the RC gear and one for the ignition, I will sort these out and make them disappear, mostly. Day 117. I did various jobs this morning. I drilled holes in the wingtips for the wingtip lights. Many people think that it's wrong to put a blue light on the right-hand wingtip, but the fact is that if there is a yellow light behind a blue shell, the light comes out as green. On top of the tail fin there is a huge light that I thought was white, but turned out to be red. I changed this later. It then took most of the morning to cut out a mask for the registration of the right-hand side. Then I masked off the outline for the blue colour. My next task is to get some newspapers or something like that to mask the fuselage while I spray the blue paint. Day 118. I was advised to use aluminium foil to mask, so I went and bought a box of foil at the local market. Then I had a nice time putting the aluminium everywhere the blue paint is not supposed to go. The aliens are not going to see this model. Unfortunately, the weather is wet and windy and so not conducive to spray painting outside. Instead, I brushed some polyurethane floor varnish on the underside of the wings. Day 119. I used the opportunity this morning, carried the model outside and sprayed the blue, even though the weather was cold and there was a danger of rain. I only needed 2 coats and then I carried the model inside and uncovered it. Then I discovered that the blue had bled profusely under the blue carline tape, even though I had begun by spraying with white. But the yellow painter's tape was nearly free from bleeding. Now, this can dry completely, and then I can add the dark blue strip and start weathering the fuse. Day 120. I glued the hinges on the rudder and then fastened it to the vertical stabilizer. And the elevators are on as well. Day 121. I spent the morning making the through dirty old and weathered. And the worst thing is that if you stand a couple of meters away, you really can't see any of it. Here I used oil pastels in some white spirit turpentine, which I brushed alongside the panel joints. White dry pastels that are wiped over the blue to get the bleached look, and some rust paint on the screw heads. The paint has cracked and flaked around the screw heads holding the windshield fairing. Also note the rust on the handle. The weathering can be seen if you look very closely. I hope the floor varnish will enhance it some, but first I have to mask and spray the dark blue stripe. Day 122. I put down a mask for the dark blue colour and then sprayed a few very thin misty coats. The fuselage is fully painted, I think. Next I will brush the floor varnish on, then I will have to do something about the cowling. I hate making things with glass fibre, probably because I'm not good at it. Day 123. I brushed a coat of floor varnish on the whole fuselage and then took the mask off the windows. This model is, in other words, ready, except for the cowling. I'm going to wrestle with this the next week and see what happens. Until then, there will be no more posts to this thread. Thank you for your viewing and your attention.